Hello, hi, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a review of episode 12 of Orange, and guys, this episode was definitely full of feels. Like, I know I say that about every episode, but this episode just killed me. It killed me. I pretty much cried. I actually did a live reaction to it, and that's probably my previous video to this one. And I don't know if you can actually see my tears, but I was holding them back real strong, because they were, if I started crying, I just would have, waterfall would have occurred, but I was holding back a lot of tears, and it's probably the episode that's made me feel the most emotional throughout the whole series so far, so let's just start talking about it. Okay, so in this episode we go through Kakeru's perspective, kind of. We kind of see his point of view from, like, the future him, like the one that did end up committing suicide and, well, successfully committing suicide. We see it from his point of view and all his thoughts and, like, the way he went through life, and not the way that Kakeru right now has gone through life, and not, like, the changed version, if that makes sense, you know? Like, we see the Kakeru that we don't see in the anime. Boom, there. And we see we really just see the story from his point of view and see all of his struggles, and I really enjoy this episode because of the fact we get to see it from his point of view. Throughout the whole series we see it from Naho's point of view, and while we do see Kakeru struggling and his thoughts and feelings, we only see what he reveals to us. But this episode really gives us the chance to see exactly how much he was struggling and what exactly he was struggling with, and the thoughts he was having and the feelings he was having. And it was a very emotional episode because of that, because it's a very emotional subject we're dealing with. We're dealing with this boy who obviously has some sort of depression, and we don't really know how far it goes, except we do, well, obviously we see how far it goes in the sense that he does try to kill himself, and the first time he does fail, and it's just really sad to watch. And it's also just really hard to talk about, and I can't even figure out a way to put all my feelings together. But we see him, and we see that he does attempt suicide once and he fails, and then we see that he does attempt suicide again and he succeeds, and that's how they lost Kakeru. And it's just the most emotional roller coaster of an episode, because we see him struggling and we see his feelings, and oh my god. The most emotional part for me was definitely the part where we are reading Kakeru's mom's unsent text message to Kakeru, and it's just because we know how much Kakeru has dealt with the guilt and regret of dealing with his mom the way he did, and how he thinks that it's his fault, and this text message is really the thing that pushes him over the edge, and obviously it's the thing that causes him to go out and not even care that he gets hit by a truck and ultimately loses his life. We see that Kakeru's mom, well, Kakeru thought she was being selfish, and she even thinks that she's being selfish, but really she was doing everything in his best interest. She didn't want Kakeru to be hurt by her husband, so she divorced him. She knew he was getting bullied, so she moved schools. She didn't want him to join any clubs because she didn't want him to get bullied. Like, all the things that Kakeru thought was just his mom being annoying or his mom being selfish were actually things that, while she might thought were being selfish, were things that she was trying to do to protect Kakeru. And it's just, it's really heartbreaking. It's very heartbreaking, because it is the thing that pushes Kakeru over the edge, because he texted his mom like, hey, like, you're not a child, take care of yourself, you know? And that's what he thought was the thing that ended up killing his mom in the first place. And then he sees that everything that he thought was annoying was her really caring for him, and he just feels so bad about it because he never thought of it as that. And I can't do this video! It was really interesting to see this episode because it shows what would have happened to Kakeru if Naho and them didn't help them the way they are helping him now. And we see that he does make bad choices. He goes to visit his friends in Tokyo, and we see how horrible of friends they are, and in the manga it's a little worse as well, the responses they have to him, but he ultimately, that's one of the things that closes him to the group, because obviously we see in the way he is now, he's open to the group and he has told them about things, but that incident with his Tokyo friends makes him realize he can't tell like Naho, Suwa, and all of them that whole thing because he doesn't want them to have the same reaction, and ultimately cuts off his support. I just think this episode is really important, and how we do get to see the whole side of Kakeru and really what he's dealing with, because it is a really important part of the manga / anime, and it's really the whole premise is Kakeru and his feelings and how they have to save him, and it's pretty much dependent on how he feels and how he reacts to certain situations. So it's really good that we see this episode to see how it could have went and how it would have went if not for Naho and friends and their letters to the past. We also see him thinking that he's hurting Naho and that he wants to protect her, and we see that he thinks that Naho might not even like him because the whole chocolate incident, and Suwa has confessed to him and he's like, oh, I don't need to confess to her, and he realizes that he just keeps pushing Naho away when all he really wants to do is talk to her, and we just see a lot of feelings from Kakeru in this Kakeru, the one that hasn't been changed by the events, and we really see how bad it could have been if Naho and them weren't there to help him and support him. We do flash eventually back to the present, whatever, and we see Naho really trying to apologize to Kakeru and to close the distance between them, and while Kakeru tries to play it off as he's fine, we can really see that he is trying to put more distance between them, and whether it's because he doesn't want her to worry, he doesn't want her to hurt her, he is in fact hurting her and making her worry even more, but he doesn't really fully, like, that's not how he's thinking, and he is getting farther and farther away from Naho, and Naho is just like, just wait for me, like, wait, everything will be fine. And the end of the episode of course ends with the whole time travel, like how did the letters happen, and we flash to the future and they're talking, and we see that this is the moment where they figure out that they're gonna send letters and send them to their past selves, and it's all explained with the power of the Bermuda Triangle. And yeah, just focus on the emotional side of the episode and it's fine, because that whole Bermuda Triangle thing confuses me a little bit. I'm like, I don't know exactly how that works, but if you focus on everything else, then it's fine, and if you focus on the fact that the next episode is the last episode, then everything is fine. And is it fine? I don't know, I'm freaking out. Even I know what happens, but like I'm still freaking out because emotions. So yeah, I hope you guys liked this review. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to tune in next week for my live stream. Is Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. EST, so if you could come hang out, that'd be cool. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are all amazing, awesome people, and yeah, I make a bunch of videos a week, and bye!